I'll add to that. It's very interesting. Again, comments sections online are a big challenge for newspapers as well. And one of the things that we have done is change our comments section. You have to, you can no longer be anonymous. And our comments right up like that. You have to comment through Facebook now.
Oh, okay.
So if you go online and you see a story and you want to comment, you go to the bottom, you'll see it's already pulled up your Facebook profile and it's waiting for you to see something. So that has taken away the cloak of anonymity and it has shut down a lot of the nasty trolls. So my very mixed feelings about this in the business because it becomes a free speech issue. But I often would ask my editors to disable the comments on the stories that I do for precisely this reason. I will have worked very hard to get someone who's very reluctant to appear in mainstream media to tell their story. And I know that if the comments aren't disabled, there are going to be 30 comments of hate.
Yes.
And if they're not properly moderated, they push over from just critical to hate. And so I would often ask for them to be disabled, which some of my colleagues found completely contravening the concept of free speech. But to me, it was worth it more to build the trust with that person and possibly the community that they belong to. But going back to your original point about the people you work with, I think you can rest assured that the people who are saying those nasty things and thinking those nasty things are a minority. So maybe of every 10 people who's nice to you, maybe one of them. But please.
It's just that's not what you see online. It's more like 90% bad.
My final point would be, please do not consider the tone and the content of comments online as representative of the thoughts of the community you live in general.
Similar to how we wouldn't depict the Muslims, how we see them in the media, we would not want the general community to think that's what Muslims are.
Yeah.
So,
And also, what I would also say is, other people need to be commenting and not leaving it to the trolls and the nasty people. And that's what one thing that I have found nice about the switch to Facebook is that more positive people, for some reason, seem to feel more stronger about. But if you go and look at
I would think, like, I'm the kind of person, if I was asked to put in my Facebook account for something like that, I probably would just stop, not comment, because I don't want to give my Facebook account.
That's why comments have dried up.
Yeah.
However, a few people, in some of the stories I've written, and not necessarily about any particular community, but about an issue, for example, I wrote a couple of stories about the potential to expand gambling in Ottawa and the whole province. They've got quite a few good, interesting back and forth discussions in the comments section that probably wouldn't have happened before because the low tone tends to crowd out the more reasonable people. But if you want to torture yourself, go to CBC and look at their comments, or go to the Golden Mail and look at their comments. It's frankly quite pointless because I don't believe that they are representative of the majority of Canadians. They are a segment that needs to be, addressed in some ways, in some situations, but you can't let the comments of anonymous online contributors shape your view of the people you work with or the people you interact with on a daily basis. Because they're not the same group, chances are. If they are, it's a tiny minority.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a film we actually want to screen. So I'm only going to put it out to people who haven't spoken yet. So if there's anyone who hasn't spoken yet, and if not, then we're going to, yes, Sakina. And I have to say, one of the most popular parts of Muslim Link that I found in terms of speaking with the community is Kids World. So this is the one we have to thank for Kids World. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to say I have one idea and I have just one general request of everybody. The one idea that I had, just thinking about the Renaissance in Europe actually, about how there was a shura, or whatever they call it in English, and
a council.
Yeah. So I believe that the Muslim Link would do well to have kind of ambassadors for different aspects of the community, right? So, you know, a certain demographic of age level, boy, girl, up until, you know, adulthood. And then we have people who, you know, are the different demographics in Ottawa. We have so many different groups here in Ottawa. And I know that you're not going to really care what I think about the paper, but at this point, I think the paper is actually, the Muslim Link is actually only really representing certain aspects, you know. Now, alhamdulillah, and I also want to just tell the general community, nobody told me, can you write a column about new Muslims? It was just an idea. I'd already been writing for the paper for a little while, and I thought, well, this would be cool. I think people would read it. And so I offered it to the editor, and she's like, yeah, go ahead, you know. The Muslim Link is very open to different ideas. They're always needing new writers, and they're needing new ideas. And I've been writing I haven't really written it, I don't call it writing because I'm just collecting, you know, quotes from people that contacted me. So the request along with that is, please contact anybody that you know that has accepted Islam here in Ottawa, whether they've been Muslim for a really long time or a short time, because at this point I have an email list of about 12 or 15 people, and I always get answers from maybe 2 or 3. And I know that's normal statistics, but if I get more emails, then I'll get more responses, especially from the brothers. So I did have one brother, I don't know what happened to him, I keep sending him the questions and he's not responding anymore. I haven't annoyed him, it's just once a month, you know, it's not that hard. And I just want to say something about what I'm going to mention about the response to one of the, I don't come up with the ideas for the questions except for when I get the deadline from people and I'm like, okay, I have to come up with a question. I don't think of it beforehand, but I do think about it in the terms of what does the Muslim community not know about people who accept Islam, you know? I don't, for example, ask people questions about how did you become Muslim, because I find that boring personally. I find, alhamdulillah, many of our answers are the same. So I did get some negative response from the one that I asked, which was the spiciest one so far, and I didn't know if they were even going to accept it, but they printed about, you know, how do you feel that the Muslim community views you as a Muslim? And the responses that I got were very exciting, and I did get not feedback to me personally, but feedback to a whole other email list about me and how I don't have any right to have a column in the newspaper, about how I should not have even approached that subject because, you know, Arabs do so much for the new Muslims and they should just be so penitent and grateful to the Arabs, that the Arabs, you know, the Arab nation has done so much for the new, and so I was worried. I went back, I read what the sisters had written, and I didn't really, I mean, I'm not an Arab, so I didn't know how the sister could have been insulted by what the sister wrote. I mean, the only way that we can change is to acknowledge what's going wrong and deal with it, not like, oh, I'm just going to kick this under the rug and hope it goes away. What's not going away is the new Muslims. We have, alhamdulillah, since 9/11, we've got more and more and more people becoming Muslim, and we have to deal with that demographic in our paper to demonstrate our community, and we have to deal with it as a community altogether. But since I started that, it's becoming like a kind of a movement. A lot of people have asked me if we can do like a New Muslims conference now, and I can't do that by myself. Hopefully that's something that the Muslim Link can sponsor. But I'm just thinking also with the young people, I have teenagers myself, and I know that they have a lot of volunteer hours, so we can kind of blackmail them with volunteering for the Muslim Link. I know that there's a lot of people.
I like how it's all about preaching, blackmailing our young people for their own benefit.
That's how I get my articles. I find their outlets.
Yeah, no, just, you know, tell them, you know, there's several hours when I write for the Muslim Link. I spend probably 3-4 hours a month, you know, writing, and they can do all kinds of other stuff with the Muslim Link if they don't want to write. I remember years ago there was a section that had poetry by the young people, and I don't see that anymore, which should come back. We have people, like my children are big into poetry, they love writing poetry and stories. I have one idea that I hope somebody will pick up on because I don't have time. A day in the life of, you know, your average Ottawa Muslim. And I suggested that, and then the editor snapped back at me, well, you write it then. But,
that's the problem with making those suggestions.
Yeah, so alhamdulillah. So I hope that inshallah the Muslim Link will continue to flourish. I'm very excited to be a part of it and continuing to contribute. And I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't even mind nasty criticism. I just, when I got those responses, I'm like, they're reading it, right? So that's
exactly. That's the thing too about those criticisms. It means they're reading it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to thank you everyone for